Oh, nice.
He works for NBC.
No, you wouldn't without a browser, you wouldn't know this, but but
מה שנכון, נכון.
I make what's it called? I'm making mostly nigunim, sometimes other music.
I see also the foam now.
Yeah,
It blends in. It looks like design. Didn't realize it was foam.
yeah, it's both. Fine, let me share the
Nice.
thingy. Share. It's gonna be
In my father's office, the foam just drives me crazy there. It's just not put on properly.
right. You could put it on haphazardly, and it's what's it called? You can
They just put it up on all the walls, just not in a
oh
nice.
just to like to to like mute the sound or whatever to like a little bit block the echoes.
Yeah, because it records. So
Right. See, the thing is, some people like to record in a dead room. I actually I like a very specific amount of natural reverb, so I played with it until I got
right.
used
No, but they like it was just put up in random colors, just put up, not in a
to.
nice
All
way.
right.
So
Yes. And then ends up yeah. Fine. So Shir 28 Choshen Mishpat Session Molkotim Milv's gonna Gzela Ashavas Gezela. So returning a lost item and Isur Knias Chayvetz Ganuv, the prohibition of buying hot goods, like they say in these parts. When they have what's it called, like at the jewelry store, they have to when they buy from somebody, they have to do due diligence to make sure they're not buying hot goods. Otherwise, they get in trouble. Fine, mitzvah shabbat zela, mitzvah the same in Ateda. Nemer bateda says in Ateda, the heishiv is like zela asher gozal. He should return the stolen thing which that he robbed. The zui mitzvah asay yamutelis ala gazlan. This is a mitzvah. So interestingly, if you want to do all 613 mitzvahs, at some point you're gonna have to be a gazlan. Because it's a mitzvah asay on the gazlan to return it. The hashiv masha gozal, to return what he robbed. She'im agazela be'einav lo yishtan. If it's still in existence and it has not been altered, then he has to return the robbed item itself. And he does not fulfill his obligation by giving its monetary value. Even if the owner is already listening, if you're, you know what I'm saying, you were on the way to the Rebbe in Lubavitch in the middle of the forest. The Kazakh highwaymen jumped you and they took your stuff. You're stopping in the CI. You're not likely to see these things again. So they gave up hope already. Even so, turns out the Kazakh is nicht geworden kein Kazakh. It's geworden a gut Yid. And fine, he has a mitzvah say to give the item itself back. But if it got destroyed, or it's been changed, it's been altered in such a fashion that it's not going to return to its original form. Then he took the car and he made from it a punk art sculpture. So he can't give back the punk art sculpture. It doesn't help the guy he robbed was a car. So then then only if the original item has either been destroyed or altered permanently, such that it cannot be returned to its original form, then he can give money according to what its worth was at the time of the robbery, which is an interesting thing to say. Because if I took a Babe Ruth baseball card from you and I stole it and I robbed it from you, and now I'm giving you back, you would think that the guy can tine it. It's now worth twice as much. Why does he have to pay me back according to its value? Not only that, he'll sell the item, say, oh, it's gone, I don't have it anymore. So now, here, I'll give you back the original money. In the meantime, he made a profit on it. Anyway, I guess we'll see if it speaks to this at all. Fine, takon nasashavim midin teiro calls manchis if shores lahachs axel atzmei atzmo. So midin teiro, like we just said, as long as he has the possibility of returning the original item, meaning that there's not been a change made to it, an alteration made, from which there's no going back. For example, if he robbed a big beam and he already used it in construction of a big building. He has to so in this case he's going to have to ask Rachmanis from the owner, because they'll take money instead, I guess. He'll have to rip down the whole building. Well, the house and he's going to have to give back this beam to the owners. Avol tiknu chachamim mipnei takonos hashavim sheyeh neisnes damev l'yavshid habinyan. So they made a takona about returning items that if it's been used in something that's in a building, you shouldn't lose the whole building. And does this extend to things beyond the building? This takona, I don't know yet. Maybe it extends to any such way that he would take a big hefsid were he to return the item, as it is. Gazlan shem is bayish losh exil beifin goli. Now how about a gazlan, which is an ironic situation, right? To rob the guy, he didn't have any busha. Vitamol to return it, now all of a sudden he has busha, and he's embarrassed to return this item openly in public. Reuven gonav mishimon kesef idover acher shekvar einei kayim beini. So Reuven robbed Shimon either money or some other thing that's already not in its original form. It's already not existent in its original form. Okay, so now he wants to go come to tshuva. But this is funny because it says Gazlan it's like Zela. Now it's talking, but in fact it's talking now about Reuven Gonav, not Gazel. So I think the title is wrong, or something. One of them is wrong. So Reuven here it says he stole like a ganef, so that makes sense because a ganef we already know he's embarrassed from people. So fine, and now he wants to tshuva. He's embarrassed to return the stolen item as a return of a stolen item. Right, so the main thing is that in the halacha is that he has to return the stolen item, to its owners in such a way that the owners know about it, right? Like we had before by the problem with giving it back to a kid, that the kid is not considered to make the kinyan for the father, and hashavas exela has to be in a way that the owner knows about it. So if somebody came in the case that you gave it back to a kid, like you said before, and somebody then went and took it or something, it disappeared, it got lost, he would be chayiv for it still. And only in such a way where the owners know about it, he is absolved from responsibility, and he has done the mitzvah of returning the stolen article. But what if he's embarrassed to return it? So the solution that we find in the Peskim is Reuven Yavliya l'Shimon es schum hakesef becheshbon Interesting, we had this. Remember we had this back. I don't know if who was there back when we did. Yeah, it was by when we had the ribis. That if somebody gave a specific large sum in certain ways, right? We say either it's a gift, or alternatively we say maybe he stole it from him, and he's misbayish to he's embarrassed, so therefore he's including it in the item, and really it's not he's not really paying back. I don't remember if it was by ribis or if it was by paying for if it was by a no. What's this? My keyboard? I don't know. Is my keyboard making noise? Anyway, fine. So what does he do? So he does business with him. Let's say he's buying rice. He's buying a pound of rice. It's $10. He stole $10. He gives him 20. He includes it in the money he's giving for a business transaction. Or he can put it for Shimon, the money, without his knowing it, in a place that's a set place for Shimon's money. He puts it in Shimon's wallet, he sneaks it into Shimon's wallet, or whatever it is, he puts it in an envelope in his mailbox, something like this. Kasher Reuven machzer beifin goes out. When Reuven returns it in this way, so we trust that Shimon, after a short time, when he looks in his wallet, he'll see there's how much money is there. Because a person checks his money from time to time. So then when he counts this money that was returned together with the money that he knows he has in his wallet already, Reuven Yod, then essentially at this point, even he doesn't know who put it there, right? He doesn't know that the Reuven put the money there to return something that he stole. He doesn't even know that Reuven stole from him. He knows that $10 disappeared a while back, and now he sees another $10. But the bottom line is he knows about it. He knows it's there. So this is the solution, because it doesn't say he has to know that Reuven returned it. It says he has to know that it's there. He has to know about it. So like this, he'll know about it. He sees, wait a second, I have $10 more in my thing that I'm supposed to, or somebody dropped off $10. Oh, somebody, either they owed me or they stole from me or something, and this is why it's there. Reuven Yotzi the Chivas Hashavas. So Reuven, he fulfills his obligation of returning. Even though Shimon doesn't know at all, that not that he stole it, not that he gave it back. Because a count that's not that's meaning that's not from his knowledge, it's still pater. It still absolves him. Meaning even though Shimon doesn't, why? Because from the fact that he counted it, he'll see that he has $10 extra, even though he doesn't know why or who did it or what's it called, or doesn't know what it was from, but he knows about it. So this is pater Reuven. Ashava kitzdaka ikimatana. Can make any room right to loss the Shimon zakas but if it's near kitzdaka ikimatana. So if he wants to give it back to him in like charity or a gift, which this sits a little bit to me, this sits a little bit wrong with me, because you're giving him like a matana. It's like Gnevas Das a little bit. You remember if you're giving you remember back by Gnevas Das, we said like if you were going to open the wine already and now you're acting like you're opening the wine for somebody, that's Gnevas Das. So I don't understand why here it's not Gnevas Das. I'm acting like I'm giving you matana. Not just I'm not giving you a matana. My mom stole it from you. Anyways, that's what it says here. Okay, going there, for example, la hasmin eisi la ruch mechubedes al cheshbonei it says fine. Ein zamel b'ter hashava. Fine, okay, it's much better with me. I was getting worried here, and so, or he wants to like invite him to a very fancy restaurant and then he'll pay for it, And like this, he'll get out of having to say that I stole from him. Ein ze meil b'teira shove. This does not help for the mitzvah of returning the article. Shari Gainav is diet. Oh, that's why. Interesting. Shari Gainav is diet. Because it's Gainav is das. Ki Shimon Cheshiv Shu maybe le'erucha b'chinu. Machzik le'tevaka. Shimon thinks he's getting he didn't want this meal instead of the item. He thinks you're such a nice guy. You're paying for him, taking him out to a fancy restaurant, or you're giving him tzedakah, you're giving him a gift, and he holds and he holds you in high regard because of this. So essentially, he's receiving something in return for what he's giving. He's receiving this appreciation. But the truth is, it's Genevas Das. Because he's not giving it to him because he likes it, he's giving it to him because he stole from him. So too, somebody who stole money from tzedakah, the same thing. If somebody he stole from tzedakah, so he has to give it back to the tzedakah and like anonymously, and not in such a way that oh look, he's giving $10,000. So yeah, he stole the $10,000 from tzedakah, and here they're giving him covered instead of it, and this is also it's Genevas Das. Okay, Ashavas Chayvitz Derech Hadayar. How about returning an item to the mail? So we're talking about the item that Reuven stole from Shimon, and he wants to return the article. But he's embarrassed to do this. So he can either send it in like certified mail, right? Meaning, why? Because remember, Shimon has to know that it came. So, if in theory, if the mailman will leave the thing there and it gets stolen, Reuven still has a problem. Whereas if it was like certified mail and Shimon and Shimon to sign for it or something, or alternatively, he can send it to a shliach, but he can send it anonymously. The shliach sends it to him. Listen, the shliach can even say, "Listen, somebody stole from you." Or just not, or stam, or whatever it is. Even if not, just listen. Somebody told me to bring this to you, and I'm not allowed to tell you who it is, and I don't know why. Also fine, but meaning the idea is that he's returning it in such a way that there's no teva given to him, no recognition given to him so he's not doing Genevas Das. And at the same time, the owner knows that he received it. For this method of returning it is no worse than returning it to the guy's wallet, that he's going to find it, but because when he counts the money in his wallet, same thing in this case, that he's going to get the item, he's going to know that he received it back. So whatever it is, either somebody borrowed it from him shalei midas, or somebody stole it and wasn't intending to return it in the tshuva, whatever it is, and he doesn't know who, he doesn't know exactly what happened, but he knows that he got it back. So it's fine. Now, if Shimon knew about the Geneva, right, because it could be in all the cases that we've been speaking out so far, it could be that Shimon didn't even realize the thing was missing. He had no idea anybody stole $10 from him. And he has no idea this item was missing until he receives it back. Now he receives it back. He's like, this is, wait, what do you mean? What do you bring? It's my item. Oh, somebody must have stolen it and now brought it back, or somebody must have borrowed it midas and brought it back. But it could be he doesn't even know about it until that point. But if he did know about it, and it caused him pain, then Yitzarif Ruv Michtov Makosh Mechila. Then Reuven should also put, we're assuming in this case an anonymous letter asking Mechila for causing, here's your item, I'm so sorry. I stole it from you, and I'm sorry. And here's it back, and I beg you, mechila, plain the Almighty. Fine. But omnam tshuva hayeser shleima. However, the more complete and better type of tshuva, he be'efen sheruvin yizda b'shmei, is that Reuven should identify himself by name. Ach im isbayish lases ve'ezais yochel levakish mechil miktov b'tzayim. So you can do it anonymously, even though it's better. It's better when he's bechla, when you're returning the item. It's better that you identify yourself. And I'm sorry, I stole. It's me. I stole your item, and I asked mechila. Hashavas zelo lemasik. So returning it, a stolen item that was stolen from an employer. Like we learned before. An employee who uses the belongings of the employer without permission. Kegain, Avid b'misrad shehitfis l'tzerich atzmei kamos gedei l'shal dapim al cheshbon ha'maisik. He works in a business, and he printed out a bunch of mamorim for his Tuesday night shir. What's it called? And at the expense of the owner. He has to pay him the whatever the cost is of such a printing. And he could do it in such a way. He could do it when he's returning this lost item. He could do it anonymously, and he could do it without asking mechila. I don't know. Perhaps because in such a case the owner, let's say it's a business and he has a whole bunch of papers. He doesn't know you used a ream of paper. It's not something that's usually counted. So he probably didn't know about it until you gave him the money, and therefore it probably didn't cause him tzar. That's that he doesn't say that clear here, but that's my assumptions, because otherwise, why would you not have to ask mechila, and why would you be able to do it? So I'm assuming that's the case. The assumption is that by a business, he probably does, and specifically in this printing case that he's mentioning, they probably don't. He probably doesn't know that you did the printing.
The mechila maybe the mechila is not for him. Maybe, I mean, for the owner. Maybe the mechila is for the guy, the robber.
For who?
Independent of the owner, he himself has to do.
Right, but here it says he doesn't have to ask mechila. So what? In other words, the only point of it, and we said above that the only case he has to ask mechila is in such a case that the owner would have noticed that the item would have known before the returning of it that the item something happened. So an owner, what's the difference? Meaning in halacha, there's no separate entity of a corporation. So based on the above, that's what I would assume, is because in such a case, it's probably unlikely that anybody that the business noticed that the thing was that the ream of paper was missing. A and B, maybe also that something like a ream of paper, even if it was missing or whatever, probably wouldn't have caused like that much tsar, relatively speaking to the overall operations of the business, But I don't know, because he doesn't really give any reasoning for this thing, and he doesn't give any qualifiers for what, what I'm saying, what amount of a geneva from an asik is falls under this and whatnot. Anyway, Koton Shegonav, a minor, not like a minor in Pittsburgh, but like an under bar mitzvah minor, who stole. Kosav Shulchan Aruch. So Shulchan Aruch writes, and where did he write it? It is in Simin Shin Mem Tesiv Gimel. Koton Shegonav, a minor who stole. Machzirim keren leba'alim. He returns just the principal. Right now, we're talking about Geneva. Where there is the possibility of kefil and dal. However, a katan, he only pays back principal. And this is if the item is still existing. If the item is no more, potter afal acher sheyagdil. He is potter even after he grows up. Why? Kivon shegonav b'shosh lo yehoya dayin b'das v'lo yehoya achrei l'maisav. Because it's like when I was 3 months old, if I knocked over a vase and broke it, I'm not chayiv for it now. Because at the time I wasn't about das when I did the deed.
Rabbi, I have a question.
Yeah.
When it says over here, it's talking about when he stole an object. But we're not talking about when he stole the money.
Or
The
he
money?
still has he still has the money. He stole it. He still has the money. You could say maybe also.
That's my question, because
Meaning he didn't buy candy with it yet. Let's say he stole money and he has the money. He didn't go and buy candy. So Mustami could say the same thing. Meaning whatever he stole is he still has.
whether it's an object or whether
money.
it's cash.
Yeah, I don't think it would make a difference.
No, because you know something. If you're talking about an object, and then you're telling me that he's potter from paying the money,
Also,
that's also right. Yeah.
Also,
But
if he stole money, then he has to pay back the money. But if he doesn't have the money anymore, then if
the
it's
same
an
thing
item,
applies.
if it's an item and the item is gone, he doesn't have to pay money for it. If it's actually money he took and he has the money, so pay the money.
It seems from here that if he stole an object and the object is not be'ain anymore, he doesn't have to pay the cash either.
No, right. That's the mashmos for sure. I agree.
Mashmos. And the same thing as if you stole money, he doesn't have to return, and it's
right.
lost.
He doesn't have the thing. So unlike somebody else who now has the chiyuv to then pay in money, it would seem the mashmos. Definitely from his words here, I agree with you. That seems to be the mashmos.
Yeah.
B'shal Shuvah Shvus Yankiv, in the response to Shvus Yankiv, Kosav, he writes, Shedin zeh, Shem Eini Be'ein Potur, Afla Acher Sheyagdil, Hu Davke B'mikre, Shegonav Es HaMomin L'Ibed Reisei, Ach Im Gonav Es HaMomin, V'nena Mimenu, K'gen Yeled Shegonav Macholim V'ochal Leisom, Chayiv L'Shalim Acher Shehigdil. Interesting. So the Shvus Yankiv now changes it a bit. So that's only if he lost it, that he didn't have enough from it. If he had enough from it, from the money, and it would seem in that case an item too, right? Let's go back to. So it seemed that like if he took an apple and he ate it and he had he has to he's chayav to pay for it. It would seem. But let's see further. Maybe they'll clarify more. Mishalit Shuvas Van Hagis Bier. So the response to Shuvas Van Hagis explained. Shaladas Shvus Yankiv, that according to the opinion of the Shvus Yankiv, so he's going to explain it. Masha Motzinu Shekotan Eina Mechuyev L'Shalim Shehigdil Hu Rak B'Mikri She'anu Boim L'Chayvim Midin Mazik. Right, so the only time he's not chayiv is when we're being mechayiv him not as a ganev, we're being mechayiv him as a mazik, as a damager. Right, like the example I used before when I was 4 months old, I knocked over a vase. So why? Because our little kid, he doesn't know what he's doing, so he knocks something over and he breaks it. He's not chayiv. So either he stole or he borrowed money and he benefited from it. Then we can be mechayivim because he had benefit. Mamoini gabecha. But rather, he's in a state of my money is by you. V'zeh shayach gam bekoton, and this also is shayach to a minor. Shetzorich l'shalim al ha'noisav, that he has to pay for his hanoah, for things that he benefits from. In that case, when he grows up, he's going to have to pay. Still, he's going to have to pay when he becomes big.
So what he's saying
and
is
gets a job.
the din of mamoini gabecha is even if it's not be'ein.
Right. Correct.
It's not literally mamoini gabecha means that you're still holding it.
But it's right. It's
Figuratively
Yeah.
speaking.
Yeah.
The money which belongs to me is in your, it's
Right.
it's in your achrayus.
Right. Correct.
You're achrayus. It's not physically there because he spent
Right,
it.
because we know it's not. That's the whole case. We know for sure it's
Right.
not there.
We're talking about because we're not being
basically it's my money is as if gabecha.
As if gabecha, and that's by din of nen, and not
but not by din of mazik.
It's a lump. This is the whole lump.
Yeah, so he really explains, because from the Shvus Yankiv it's not clear why the distinction. So the Chuvas Van Hogis, he clarifies why should there be such a distinction? Because if he lost it and did not benefit from it, then he's a mazik. But the second he's nene from it, then it's ki'ilu mamayni gabecha.
So having the enjoyment is
right.
Differentiate
According to the Chuvas Van Hogis, that's the qualifier of the Shvus Yankiv. Lemaise, however, in action, Chuvas Van Hogis pikbeik behechrich devorav shel Shvus Yankiv. He didn't what's it called? He doesn't sit with him well. This thing from the Shvus Yankiv, even though he explains why there should be such a distinction. Shechev zatashto midin nene kemes bekotten. He's what's it called? He doesn't. He's not so sure of this. That there should be a din nene by a minor. Ach kosav shebekol eifin. Still, in either case, a father is required to educate his children not to steal and not to damage. And even if the minor himself is potter from paying, and even the father is potter mitzad the din of geneva or mazik. However, it is appropriate that, as far as to educate them properly, it is fitting for the father to teach them to pay. And specifically when they ate and had enough. That even though he's not so certain of the words of Shvus Yankiv, but at least there's but there's for sure a tzad there that maybe the Shvus Yankiv is right. And on top of that, you have chinuch. So therefore, in that case, even more so. So v'lochein k'dilotes mitzvahs chinuch roi sha'aba yitein la'yelad kesef l'shalim. So in order to fulfill the mitzvah of chinuch, the father should give the child, money to pay. Or the father should pay on behalf of the child. But if it's a large amount, he broke something very valuable, and the father, it's very hard for him to pay such amount, then you can't be mechayiv him on this, because ultimately minad din is not chayiv. And it would seem that the Chuvas Van Hogis is talking about by both, meaning he doesn't agree with the Shvus Yankiv. He holds that both by mazik and even by nene, mitzad adin, he can't pay. However, mitzad chinuch, even by mazik and especially by nene, being that there is a tzad from the Shuvas from the Shvus Yankiv, so it's appropriate that he should pay. However, if it's a valuable item, then at the end of the day you can't. Oh, Master Yoda. Then ultimately you can't make him pay because minadin he's not chayiv to pay. Gozal es harabim ve'en yedei lemiyachzir. Okay, another case. Kosov HaShulchan Aruch. And this is in Shin Samech Vav Siv Beis. So we're really jumping around. Aroim v'gaboim v'amoichsim. The shepherds and the trustees and the tax collectors, their tshuva is very hard. Meaning, so we're talking about a shepherd or a gabbai or a tax collector. We're talking about he misappropriated the funds from what he's So the same could be like a manager of a business or something like this, misappropriating whatever. But the manager of business, it's not as hard. Why? Because he's not dealing with things from that belong to the public. I'm not sure why the Raya in this case is maybe it's cattle that belong to the community or something like this, animals that belong to the community. So anyway, their tshuva is very hard. Why? Because they robbed from the public. And they don't know who are they supposed to return it to. And therefore they should take care of public needs, being that what they stole was public money. So I guess it's what's Beiris Sichin is like drinking wells. Like wells.
They're called cisterns.
Okay. And so cisterns and graves.
Yeah, but cisterns are reservoirs of water.
Yeah, for like waste. Yeah. It's wastewater or drinking water.
Often enough, drinking water. There are places where they reserve water from rain. They put them in.
But it's communal. It's a communal thing. So it's a benefit.
Yeah, of course, it's a rabbim. Sure.
Fine. Shulchan Aruch Harav, and Shulchan Aruch Harav he expands on this and explains that somebody who robs from the public and doesn't know to give it. Like so, for example, a tax collector that he fudged the numbers and he collected from people from the public more than what the king told him. Similarly, so interesting. He by him when he talks about gaboim, he talks also these are gaboim who collect a tax from the king. Now it's similar to meichsim, but a little bit different. So that for example, they took less from their relatives and more from other people to make up for it, which this is they are gazlanim gemurim. And also the money of the congregation that they make like their own, that they use it for their own, they misappropriate. Shuvasam kosher, they have a very hard shuva. Therefore, they should do the needs of the public. Get lachfeid be'eris mayim, like to dig wells of water. B'chtei shagam hanigzolim yenomihem, that also those who were robbed will benefit from it. However, if it's people, for example, let's say he has a cheshbon, right? Let's say this tax collector. He robbed people in this way in the tax, but he has ledgers, and he knows who he took what. So if he knows specific people that he took more than he's supposed to, he has to return it to them personally. He can't just include it in the public thing. That's only if you don't know who in the public you stole from. But if you know, you have to return to the individual people. And it's not enough that they're benefiting from this public work that you're doing. That only helps if you don't know who it's from. And the same too, somebody who loaned with ribis to a lot of like the loan shark, and he loaned with ribis, but he was one of those guys who did it. he did it. He did it to a lot of people. So he doesn't know. He doesn't know to who it's who he did. Give me just one sec. Okay, fine. Knias Chavetz Ganav. Now, how about buying a stolen article? Keinem Beganav Machzik Yedei Evri Aveda. He's somebody who buys from a thief. He is holding the hand, meaning he is enabling people who transgress Avedis. Kasvar Rambam Shulchan Aruch. The Rambam and Shulchan Aruch. Right. Also, the Liknei Meganav and Chavetz Sheganav. It's prohibited to buy from a thief an item that he stole. You can't take hot goods. The oven godolhun. It's a big sin. So it's not just a recommendation. It's not a good thing to do. It's mamish a sin. Shahari machzik yedei every aveda, because he's holding the hands of those who transgress avedis. He's an enabler. And he also causes him to because you're making it you're making it lucrative for him. So since you're making it lucrative for him, you're encouraging him to steal more. Shem lo yim to likeach. Ain't a gainav, because if he can't sell the stuff, what's the point of he's not going to steal it, right? Let's say he stole an iPhone, fine, so he can use one iPhone, but if he can't sell the other iPhones, he's not going to go steal more iPhones. He has nothing to do with them. The Gemara Maseches Gedushin Muva Moshel al Zeh. So it brings a mashal. Lei achbara ganav. A mouse is not a ganav. Ela chura ganav. But the mouse the hole is a ganav. What does that mean? Kalimar. Because it achbar ganav tevua v'neisni b'acher shalei. Ein hu a ganav ela acher. When a mouse steals a produce and he stashes it in his hole, he's not stealing, but rather the hole is stealing. Why? If he didn't have a hole to put it in, the mouse wouldn't take it, because he would have nowhere to stash it. Because so this is the mashal that the Gemara gives on the ganav. Why the person who's buying it is the problem? Because if he didn't have somebody a buyer, just like the mouse, so if he didn't have a hole to stash it in, so then he wouldn't take it. Because even though say the achreinim that the ganav, so fine, so you're not going to buy it, they'll just take it and he'll go somewhere else, to a different town where they don't know that he's a ganav, and he'll sell it there. But this is not it's not as easy for him. It's not as he can't achieve this so easily. At the very least, if all of his the people who know him and recognize him won't buy from him, at the very least you're going to say that he would steal less. Maybe once in a while he would go and make a whole trip to another town, but it's harder. It's much easier when he can just sell it off right there.
He'll slow down. Yes. So
at the very least, he's not going to steal as much.
No.
Yeah. So therefore, one who buys from him is enabling him.
Sure.
So now let's say the guy is buying it and he's intending for the good of the Ganev so that he should return it to the owner. No, wait, that he'll return his. Oh, I guess the buyer is the guy that it was stolen from. He's buying his own stuff back from the Ganev. Oh no, I see what he's doing. No, sorry.
No.
It's a third guy, but he's gonna pay.
Somebody-
He's gonna buy it from the Ganev so that he can now go pay the owner.
He wants to help the original owner out.
Right, and he's
So
gonna go pay. He's gonna go. Vanignav Yishalom Lakena.
yes, then he gives when the meaning
Meaning that he's gonna go sell
it
the
to
owner
him.
back his thing. So Kosa b'Shulchan Harav says She'im Makena Mishayr Shanignav Eina Yochel Lahatzel Ba'atzmei Yisrachushei. So
it must be something like of sentimental value. You know
right,
what I'm saying?
it's like let's say his grandmother's necklace. And the
Something
guy
like
stole
that.
his grandmother's necklace, and so he's gonna buy it, and then he can give it. But listen, I don't want to be out the money. I bought the stolen item for you. You want your grandmother's thing, so just pay. Meaning, I'm not making a profit from you. You pay me the same thing that I paid the guy for it. But like this, you don't lose your grandmother's necklace. So in this case, he is allowed to do that. Fine, which makes sense. You know, this thing is a priceless heirloom in his family. And I went and bought it for $10. And I bring it back to the owner and I say, listen, he's paying me back my $10 that I paid the guy.
He can't pay. He can't charge more.
I mean, it's not mashma.
Saying he bought it. Halachically was correct. He
No,
didn't do
why was
anything
it
wrong
correct?
when
You know,
he
he's
bought
not.
it.
No, he's not allowed. You're not allowed to buy a stolen article. So the only reason he's buying it is to give it back to the guy. Why would he be able to charge him more? Now
You're saying he
you're
knows
making
for a
profit off the
fact
thing.
it's stolen when he buys it.
Yeah, for sure. We're talking about all of this. We're talking about where he knows it's a stolen item.
Before he buys it.
Yeah. All this case,
Okay.
he's buying something that he knows. That's why we say so. The guy's going to go to the next town, and there people don't know that it's stolen. They'll buy it, and you're not over if you don't. If meaning you're only over if you have some reason to believe it's a stolen item.
Even if you have reason to believe it's a stolen item, it's not necessarily a problem unless you know for a fact it's a stolen item.
I think that Pale, even if, for example, there's certain items that there's a high likelihood of it being a stolen item, there could be a problem there.
I had a case like that. I was walking on Flatbush Avenue, and there was this guy selling a whole bunch of Apple products.
Right.
And I called her up. I'm like, probably stolen. If you don't know for a fact that it's stolen, it's fine.
It depends. I think there's more. I think it's more complex than that.
I don't know. That's what I was told in that specific case. I bought them.
Okay, because in that specific case, maybe it could be different.
Possibly. I think also in general,
Yeah, I'll tell you why. First of all, you don't know for a fact if it's stolen, but also in that case, even if it is stolen, how do you know it's stolen from a yid?
You're not allowed to steal from a guy either.
Yeah, the question is
If
how
a guy
far
stole
you
from
have
a
to.
guy and whatever, and but I'm saying, and now it's a suffix. If even he's stolen, it's a suffix. What's it called? And remember, there's also a shaila if what's it called? If first of all, if a yid stole from a guy, is a shaila if it's the rabban or the deraisa. Even though I think the scum and bichlal is it's deraisa, but if I recall right from before, but I'm saying there's a number of sveikis there.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I think there's, in other words, if
Also another example
if you have a
regarding
guy who's a known ganev, and it's mamish likely that he stole it, I think it's a different thing. But fine. But in either case, in this case, what we're talking about, in either way, we're talking about cases where he knows it's a stolen item. This we know it's stolen items in all these cases. So either way, this would still work. Yeah, but that's a good question. At what point do we say it's mistama stolen item, and what point no? I don't know. It's fine. So now in this case, what happened? In this case, he knows it's a stolen item. In fact, not only knows it's a stolen item, he knows who it was stolen. So he's just doing it, and from the lashon. From the lashon he uses, it would seem that you can't charge him extra for doing this. He says, so to do it avur hanignav means I'm not charging him money. Like I'm not what's it called, using it to to make a profit on him. I'm just I'm doing mateva because here's his item. If I don't buy it right now, he's gonna sell it to somebody else. He's gonna put it in the pawn shop. It's gonna be gone. It's gonna disappear. So the mashmos of this is he's not charging him more than what he's paying the ganav.
Right. That's the way I understood it too.
Yeah. So that's the mashmos from his words. He doesn't say it's 100% clear, but it's mashma. Ha'isur liknes meganav afil b'mikrish medubar al nachri shegot. Oh, here we go. So here's exactly what you're saying over here. That it's even if a guy still shmagoy, it's still usher to buy to buy this. Shekain isur gneva hu mishav mitzveinech v'nimtza shemechazek es haganav b'asiyas davar asuloi. So basically, he's assisting the ganav to be over on shav mitzveinech. Kemekei no isur likneis miganav kailo kol schera genuva. Afilu im Reuven konem meganav atzmai ucheishim erei tzlikas mereuven. So even if he's not the one who stole it, he bought it from the ganav, but you know it's a stolen item. But you show him you saw this last part. It was exactly to what your point was. So what I was saying is that who he stole it from, if he stole it from either or not, would make no difference then. If he stole it from a guy take, it would be the same. It would be the same thing. Why? Because he's being Avraham Mitzvah, and you're helping him. You can't help him do that. So even if it's stolen goods and you know it's stolen goods, but wait, I'm not buying from the Ganav. Reuven bought it from the Ganav. I'm buying it from Reuven. Shimon, or even Shimon bought it from Reuven, and now I'm buying it from Shimon. But I know it's a stolen thing. The bottom line is, even if it's several layers down, you're helping. You're the guy, right? That's making it lucrative for everybody in line before you. Also, let's say Laganav Kosovar Amav v'chein also l'sayei Laganav b'shum davar k'dei shignev. You cannot help a ganav in any aspect of his geneva. Baruch HaShulchan Hisif shemishum kach eimer uman shemevash mimenu las davar. So a craftsman that they ask him to make a thing, who mevin shadavar is there, Who lost the geneva? Oh yeah, I feel him super himself the geneva. Right. So I'll give you an example. You have a guy who is an expert at making lock picking tools. Right. So he makes lock picking tools. Who's his usual customer? Locksmiths. Fine, no problem. But if he has a guy who he knows is a ganav, and he knows he's coming and he's getting the stuff for the lockpicks to break the lockpick into people's houses and steal, or even if he's misupik, he has doubts. He thinks maybe this guy is for this. Also, Leila say kegain. Oh, here. The shachtel mafteach what a ganav to. Well, he's not talking about lock picking things. He's talking about to make a key copy, to copy a key. Oh, lahachin loyim tzayim leziuf, or to make him fake ID. Oh, lahamtzi loy masmechim kezim v'chol was that to make him fake smiches. You know, like they used to, what do you call it? There was these guys who used to go around in Eretz Yisrael. And what they used to go around in Eretz Yisrael, and they would make like fake tzedakah, you know, fake things that they're collecting tzedakah, and they would go from, you know, they would dress up, they put a hat and a suit. They were fry Israelis. They would put on a hat and a what's it called, and they go and they'd say that they're. Sometimes even worse. Sometimes they would get a naive yeshiva bacher. And they would tell him, we're collecting for this year for a chassan, of course. Oh, you need a, and he said, but we're like, look at us, they're not going to give us money. You'll give money because you look, you know. And of course, the naive bacher doesn't chap, like maybe these guys aren't. Maybe they're stuck in chassan, they're stuck in color, you know. And what's it called? So any of these things to make such a certificate for somebody is also is not allowed. Takonas ashuk l'shita sarama b'shulchan aruch. So I think he's talking. What is he talking about here? What does he mean? Let's read it. We'll see what he's talking about. What does he mean by takonas ashuk? Fixing the market. Or maybe it means a takonas. It's a takona. A takonas rabbanon. It's meaning what do you call takona? They enacted an enactment of for that relates to the market, according to the Rambam Shulchan Aruch. Mavur beRambam Shulchan Aruch. Shekasher Ruvin kana mishimin. Ruvin bought from Shimon. Chayfetz mesuyim, a certain item. ואחר כך הסבורר על ידי עדים שחפץ זהו שייך ללוי ונגנב על ידי שמן שמכר לראובן. מעיקר הדין צריך ראובן להחזיר את החפץ ללוי. So if Reuven buys something from Shimon, turns out Shimon stole it from Levi. So me'ikar hadin, Reuven has to return. Listen, I'm sorry you bought it. I feel bad for you. You lost your money, but you bought a stolen article. You have to give it back to Levi. And now la'achar mikein last his dinim Shimon lohitzim meno sakas shilimli. And now go back to Levi, the thief, and try to get him to Basin or whatever to return your money. Because the stolen item, sorry, you got to get back to the owner. Now deal with the thief. Elo shechachamim chasheshu shemnelech b'zeh. Al pi hadin, the chachamim were worried. They suspected if they're going to go according to the din on this, anoshim yimnu melikna yizeh mizeh. People will stop. Basically, it's going to stop the economy. People will stop buying from each other. Why? Michshash shemas chirigenuba. What if it's stolen goods? and now they're going to have to go return it to the guy who was stolen from. Now they're going to have to get their money back. They're going to have to go to bring the ganav to court and whatever. It's the whole thing. Good luck trying to get money out of anybody. How much more so? Good luck getting your money back from a ganav. So he's going to lose his money. Mishum kach tiknu chachamim takonas hashuk. So therefore, the chachamim, they enacted the takana of the shuk. Lefiyah, according to it, shekasher isbarir al yedei edem shachevitz nigel milevi, when in the event that it becomes clear that the item was stolen from Levi, Ruven hakaina amnam tzarich lahachzir miyad zachevitz Levi. So Taki Ruven has to give it back to Levi. But Levi has to pay him for it, what he paid. Meaning he doesn't have to go and now settle with the Ganav. Rather, Levi has to, the guy who was stolen from, listen, I paid $10 for your grandmother's necklace. Here's the necklace back, give me $10. Now, this is a little different than the case we had before. In the case we had before, that was his intent in the first place. And like this, Reuven goes out of the picture. I got my money back. And now Levi goes and he brings the Ganav to court to bring him to get the money out, right? You stole from me. You stole it to him. Now I have to pay him for my item back. I want my $10 from you. The Rambam added shechachamim also takon hashuk rag b'mikra sheshimin einenu ganav mefursam. This takona is only in the event that Shimon is not a known ganav. Ach im Shimon hu ganav mefursam. If he's a known ganav, ein lanu inyan lahagin al Reuven shekarim menu. Then we don't protect you that you bought from him. Why? Because he's a known ganav. You should have known it's a stolen thing. And in that case, when he's a known ganav, we go after the main din. So now the original owner doesn't have to, since it was a known ganav, so the owner doesn't have to go take the ganav to court. Rather, the buyer has to take the owner to court because you should have known because he is a known ganav. So now, based on this, I adjust my understanding of the entire thing is that not only when it's a ganav, but when it's likely a ganav also, even if you don't know for sure, but if it's a pretty good chance it's a ganav, such as it's a known ganav, you can't buy from him either. It's further explained that Rambam Shulchan Aruch calls up Mikdash and Eidah Shachayfetz Aganav Lifnei Shel Levi Siyash Mimenu. This is all if the original owner did not give up hope on it. Shekol man Shel Levi Siyash Mimenu Chayfetz Chayfetz Dayin Shayichlei. That as long as he therefore Reuven has to give back the original owner, Levi, the item. Levi is a kesef, and Levi has to pay him. If Shimon is not the guy, a known ganav, like we said before. Or he lost his din in Shimon, or he can make a din in Shimon if Shimon is a ganav mefursam. But how about if Levi already gave up hope on the item? Where am I here? Even if he only gave up hope after Reuven bought it. Since there was both giving up of the owner, the owner despaired of it, and there's also a change of ownership. That the item passed hands from Shimon to Reuven, whether before or after he gave up. Hariachefetz agonov nikna l'Reuven shaychli. So now this item it has a proper kinyan to Reuven, and it belongs to him. Why? Because Levi was misyayish. Ve'oz hadin hu, and then the din is hachefetz nishar biyadav shel Reuven. Then the item stays in Reuven's hands. Umi'ata hanidu nurak legabi hakesef, and now it's just a monetary matter. Shem Shimon ino ganim mefursam, that if Shimon is not a known ganev, then Levi, who's there shetzarich l'tevei l'din uleitz mimenu as hakesef, then Levi has to go after the ganev for the money mishum tekonas hashuk. And if Shimon is a ganev mefursam, then Reuven, the buyer, has to go after him for the money. Meaning that Reuven pays Levi, he doesn't have to give him the item because Levi was misyayish from the item, but he does have to pay him the money. If it was the guy in Mefursam, he still has to pay him the monetary value of it, and then he has to take Shimon to court. So Bekitzer, if there was no Yush, he has to return the actual item, and it's just a question of now who has to. And whoever ends up not with the item, whether it was a ganev mefursam or not, has to go after the ganev. On the other hand, if he was misyayish, then the buyer keeps the item. There's still the issue of money. Does he have to pay? Who has to retrieve? In other words, does he have to pay him for it, and he go after the ganev, or does the original owner have to go after the ganev? Okay, Takonas Hashuk l'shidi Soresh v'Ramo. So that was the Takonas Hashuk, right? Again, Takonas Hashuk makes sure it places, unless the Bekitzer, unless it's a Ganav Mefursam, in which case the buyer has to go after the thief. The Takonas Hashuk makes it so that the original owner is the one who has to go after the thief, so that people shouldn't be afraid to buy. So it takes it off the buyer. So that's according to the Shulchan Aruch and the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch. The Rosh and Ramah argued on this with 2 points. Aleph, l'shita sarosh v'Ramah ein chiluk bein mikra sheshimon hu ganav mefursam or bein mikra she'ein ganav mefursam. So they don't hold by this distinction between a ganav mefursam or not. Ela chiluk toli b'diyosi shel Reuven. So it's kind of a fine distinction here. Meaning, according to the Rambam Shulchan Aruch, essentially it comes out then, according to them, if he's a ganav mefursam, even if Reuven the buyer didn't know that he's a ganav mefursam, it's still too bad. He's a ganav mefursam. So it has to do with whether the ganav is a ganav mefursam or he's not a ganav mefursam. Whether or not the buyer knew about it. According to the Rosh and Ramah, no, it doesn't have to do if he's a ganav mefursam. Rather, it's about Reuven knowing that it's a stolen item or not. That if Reuven did not know that it's a stolen item, then you have to konas hashuk. Meaning that the original owner has to deal with the ganav and not the buyer. However, if Reuven knew that it's a stolen item, then he caused it on himself and he has to go after the ganav. So that's one. Base. L'shita sarosh v'Ramah mashamarno sha'chefetz nikna l'Reuven v'shayich lebemikli sheyesh yush ba'olam mishinu reshus. So we said before that according to the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch, that if there was yush, right? If the owner gave up hope on it, then he doesn't have to return the item. It's just a question: does he have to give money to the? Does he have to give money to the owner for it, and then he go after the ganav, or does the original owner have to go after the ganav? So remember, according to the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch, the yush could be whether before or after it came into Reuven's rishus. However, according to the Rosh and Ramah, the Yiyush had to be before Reuven bought it. That they had to be Miyayish before he bought it. If after, no good. V'hainu she'Levi is Yayish me'achayv l'fnei she'Reuven kana isay. Aval im Levi is Yayish me'achayv rak la'achar she'Reuven kana isay, ha'chayv z'dayin shaykh Levi. But if he wasn't Miyayish until after Reuven bought it, then it's still shaykh to Levi, and he can't return the money. He has to return the actual item. Shekain shinoi reshus she'idol lifnei yush ba'olim ein li mashmos. Because what's the difference if he was Miyayish after? Meaning the whole point we're saying is that Reuven is kind of it because he was Miyayish. But if the Yush happened after the Kinyan, there was no Kinyan. Sheshinu reshus mayil rak la'achar yush ba'olim shitizu. V'nimtza im kein sheish kan rak yush ba'olim she'enei maspik shel atzmel menas lehachshav sa'chefetz koni l'Reuven. So the Yush doesn't help. It's not enough to help. It happened after the transaction. So therefore, he has to return the item itself to Levi. Again, in the case that the Yush happened after he bought it. And now, in terms of the money part of it, right? So either I have to return the chayfetz to Levi, and I have to go after the Ganev, or do we say that the other guy has to go after the Ganev? Who's the guy who has to go after the Ganev? So that depends again, like we said before, by the Rosh Hashanah. It doesn't have to do with him being a known guy. It has to do with him being with if he knew or not. Fine, that's the machlekes of the Rosh Hashanah on the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch. Fine. So now we go into back into Shalom's situation. Maybe not exactly, but meaning obviously what the Rav told you was based on that exact scenario. But we're going into similar space. In Mishnah, because up until now we're talking, do you not know what happens if it's a chezkas gerova, but you don't really know. Mishnah Masechus Bava Kama in Leichim Min Haroyim Tzemer V'Chol V'Gdiyim. You don't take from the shepherds wool or milk or goats. Because we suspect that perhaps they stole it from the balabais that they gave them to take care of this. And not from a guardsman of trees and fruit. Anything that has a chazaka that it's stolen, also likachese. You're not allowed to liknes, same thing. So meaning you're not allowed to buy it. V'chein im reiv eisei hadavar shuganov. Reiv escherim is sug zugnova, meaning generally speaking, this kind of stuff is stolen stuff. Ein leichem eisei also, you don't buy it. Lefikach, therefore, ein leichem me'aroyim tzemer echol v'gdiyim. You don't take from the shepherds, not wool and not milk and not goats. Aval leichem echol v'gdiyim b'midbar. Right. However, milk and cheese you can take from them in the desert, but not in the city. Why? Because it's a cholov v'sagvina shebamidbar balabais marsha l'rei kivin shebalabais ein ragel lotzei slovia misham. So why? Because that you assume that the balabas gave him. Generally speaking, that kind of guy has permission to sell it, because the balabais doesn't usually go and go out there to bring them from there. So therefore, you can assume that he probably allows him to. The general rule, kol shareya mechrei imaya balabais margish by mutar l'leikhei v'mlav asur. Meaning, if you could, if the situation is such that Mistama the Balabas would catch him if he was stealing, you can assume he's not stealing, and if it's in such a way that he probably could get away with it, then you can't. So fine. So it seems like with things that generally tend to be stolen items, it seems there's a problem, Taka. Bailos al eitvim shel chumri aveda. So now, who owns the remnants of work things, of like jobs or whatever? So like, for example, you have a craftsman. What things can he take for himself from the remnants of craft that he was hired for? Wrote Al Pi Mishnah Masechus Bava Kama, based on the Mishnah Bava Kama. Neseiris shahachorosh meitzi b'matzod shalei. So extras that the carpenter takes from a matzod, he'll say in a second what that is his. With the chshil is the balabas's. Matzod hu kli lehachloko adino shel eitz sheyetzi simenu pselis daka. So it's almost like, let's say, sawdust, for example. Sawdust and splinters, things like this. The balabas is not makbid on, so he can take that. And therefore, the carpenter can take it for himself. So it has larger holes. So maybe if it's bigger splinters, the guy cares. But if it's sawdust, he doesn't. I don't know exactly what this exact size of these two kalim are. But basically it comes, and the truth is nowadays it would be different. Because nowadays, for example, if you're doing carpentry work and you have a 3-inch piece of 2x4, your average balabas has no need for the 3-inch piece of 2x4, and you can take it. So it'd be a little bit different nowadays because it's based on what people generally would be makbid at or not. Hamshich Rambam v'Shulchan Aruch, continuation of the Rambam Shulchan Aruch. V'mahaya Isa Eitzel Balabayis, often a station Shel Balabayis. But if he was doing the work at the place of the Balabayis, again, I don't know if that would apply so much today. Then the leftovers, all the leftovers, even the sawdust, belongs to the Balabayis. Keleimar, meaning imidubar benagar schir, shaloi kibul asavoid bekablonis. We're talking about a schir yoim. He works for the Balabas. He's not. He's not he's not a contractor. Balabais mak the gamal says daka. So in that case, it's this is my materials, and he's more mak. But again, I don't think that applies today, because today if the guy would probably have him brush it up and throw it out. So if he wants to take the stuff that's being brushed up and thrown out, then it wouldn't really make a difference. So to any other field. So essentially it all belongs to the balabais, really. Unless he's not makbid. So that's the general rule. Where the balabais is makbid, you can't take it. Where the balabais is not makbid, then you can take it. Furthermore, wrote the Rambam Shulchan Aruch, and all these things and similar, we go after what's normal. So, for example, here in the U.S., again, a 5-inch piece of 2x4, the guy doesn't care to keep it. unless in certain cases actually the Baal Boss might specifically tell them to keep it. Why? Because he has use of it for something. Funny thing, I think it has something to do with my position or something. When I turn a certain way, my computer starts beeping. You hear this? Like it sounds like there's a key press down or something. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, so it all goes after Minhag Medina, and it probably all, and it also goes by based on from place to place and work to work, because you have sometimes where people do keep the little pieces because they need it to for wedges and for things and whatever. So it all depends on the situation really. Haram Shulchan Aruch Isifu Shekol Uman Shemochar Davar Me'advarim She'enu Mishalei Behilchus Medina also Likach Mimenu. They add that any craftsman who takes things, he sold things that are not his, they meaning like we just based on the rules we just said before, we're not allowed to buy from him. Im Omar Hatmein Asr. So something that he took based on like our rules above of Minhag Medina is fine. But if you told him, oh, go put aside this thing for me, it's Asr. Why? Because now he's not just taking waste matter. Now he's gonna like figure it out to make sure he has waste matter, you know. So then so in that case it's not gonna work. I guess we will. Let's see, where are we holding here? How much we have here to go? That we have like a little bit. Should we just push and finish this session so we can go straight inside? Let's keep going. We have not so much left. Let's continue. The buying the extras from materials, the like raw materials from a factory. לגבי מפעל לייצור בגדים שמקבלים על לקוחים שלהם חיים לגולים עבור כל הזמן. So it's like a factory that they make clothes and they receive from their customers. They receive, right? They tell them, for this you need to give us 3 yards of raw material. In fact, I in Ukraine, I did exactly this. There's a big tailor shop. It was a very nice place. It was very what's it called? And they made when by my chasna, they made me pants for my kapata. By the way, these were I still never in my life did I have such pants like this. They were made like these. They were tailored in such a way they were like like so comfortable, like, and they were lined and what do you call it was like, and it fit, and it was.
And then you have to pick up others also not.
Well, no, the kapata they tailored it. That we got from Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah.
And then they tailored it.
Okay.
Like he got me like a size that someone got me a size they knew for sure would be big enough, and then they, brought it down to my size. Looking back, they should have left it, but
okay, well,
but fine. And they made these pants, and then there was there was the other bacher that I was with on Shlichus there. So he was a bacher still when I got married. So he had to make him a whole suit, and we went a different place to a material shop. And we picked the material exactly we wanted, and they told us, they measured us, they told us you'll need for this 3 yards of material, whatever, fine. And then we brought the tailor shop them. I mean, the lining and that they have it standard, but what we wanted the suit made out of, we brought them the material. So this is such a we're talking here in such a setup. And with using different ways, they managed to save in the materials. So they end up with substantial amounts of the extras of the raw materials. So the question is, now are you allowed to do these? Should they have returned it to the customer? Does it belong to the place? Are you allowed to buy from them? According to the words of the Minchas Yitzchak, Yesh levahed mahu minog seifim b'zeh. What's the general custom by the seifim in this field? Shekain yesh svara leimar shekol zman shelo mekabel es abeged shehizmen be'echos teva. So long as there's a svara that we can say that as long as the buyer received a proper garment and he's happy with it and it's good quality, etc. Eina makbid al sheiris achomarim elameichel aleim v'neisim lemifel. But he doesn't care about it. In fact, I didn't ask for the extra. I don't know if they kept it. They didn't keep it. Maybe they made baby hats with it or something. I don't know what they do with it. Fine. So maybe they're not makbid. What's the minhag there? And if this is the normal way that business is done in this place, then they're not doing no problem, and you can buy from them. Just like we said before, it goes after the minhag. But if there is no known minhag in this, then we should go based on what is brought above in Shulchan Aruch. That any raw materials that have any sort of chashivus to them, right? Like they say, the proof is in the pudding. They're selling the materials, so obviously they have chashivus. It belongs to the balabais. In this case, the guy who ordered the garment, the customer. And in such a case, it's clear that you're not allowed to buy it from the factory because you're assisting in the carrying out of an aveda. So the Mishnah Halachis clarifies the words of the Minchas Yitzchak. If we're talking about things that they went to great lengths to save on it, or they told you they need more material in the first place, or these kind of things, and they're doing tricks just to have this material to sell it, it's clear we're not that this is not a person is makbid. They shouldn't be doing this to you. Right. And therefore, you can only be making on this in such a case where it's very, very clear that the mazmin is meichel to the factory. Or on the other hand, if we're talking about that they didn't they're not specially going out of their way to get more material. It just happened they had more material. That's how it ended up. Then it's also fine. But if they really go out of their way to get extras, to make extras out of it, then you got to check to make sure that taka there's a very.
I don't understand the lashon over here of the Mishnah Halachos. It says Hey al dir Minchas Shoshed loimer shechumrei golem shoyse mishtadlus gedoyle lachzuk behem. What do you mean?
Go back here a second first. Go back here a second first.
Yeah.
Okay. Here shemekablim minat melekuchis. Now here's the key words that he's talking about that he doesn't like in the Minchas Yitzchak. Meaning they're especially doing tricks to get more material.
So there for sure that the customer, what do you call it, the mazmin, right?
So this is what the Mishnah Halachos is saying. He's saying, don't understand the words of the Minchas Yitzchak like that. That they're specially going out because he said in this case, you better have a very clear minhag of the place that's okay, or that's how business is taka done. If that's going to be okay, because otherwise, I would say that generally a person is makbid on that. So that's the point of the Mishnah Halachos.
What case is it talking about? When be'akroi, there was
Stop,
something
yeah,
left.
stop. So two cases. Either there's a mamish a minhag butter that it's normal that you give a bit of extra and they take it after. If there's mamish a minhag butter like this,
But I can't imagine that could be anything significant that somebody could buy.
good. Listen. Let's say when I made my suit, they told me and they told me 3
Yeah.
yards.
Yeah.
Why? Just to make sure. The truth is, it's two. They need 2 yards to 2.5 yards.
So
If they don't, but then if they're gonna run out, it's gonna be a problem. So you just tell me 3 yards, and then listen. I don't want the extra. What am I gonna do with the extra 3/4 of a yard? But there are certain. But 3/4 of a yard is 3/4 of a yard. They could sell it.
yeah, it could be. I mean, I don't know enough about tailoring. I just can't imagine that a piece of cloth which is left over is anything significant to somebody. The Hekatim says, okay, I believe it. I mean,
I let's say I left them 3/4 of a
you
yard.
make a yarmulke with it,
Let's say I left them 3/4 of a yard of silk that they made my pants with.
When he trips playing with his grandkids and he ruins the knee, you can then repair the knee with the leftover cloth.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay, but thank God by the time you have grandkids, those pants are long gone. But they wouldn't. The bike doesn't get along with those pants anymore for years already.
Yeah.
I was
not in your wildest dreams.
I'm not a size 30. I'm not a size 34 anymore. Okay.
Yeah, I remember when I was.
That's what I buy my car. That's what I was.
Me too.
Fine.
No, achlifu duchtaihu.
No. By the way, you might be right that it would be uncommon that it's mamish a significant amount. You're probably right, but it still could be an amount that you could do something with.
Maybe because for example, a capota, it comes in different pieces. You know what I'm saying? A capota, I could see it. Have you seen the capota where it's made?
And right, so there's going to be a lot of extra pieces left over.
Yeah, and the way
the pieces they're also the pieces they're like this. They're not like
they're smaller pieces. The back of the
and they curve, so you could end up with a big piece like this.
Yeah, I could understand that. Yeah, okay. I just found it a little bit hard.
In either case, the
you can also make something for a 3-year-old.
You're right. Yeah. Right. You can make something small to make a vest or something, whatever.
Right.
At the same time, I was not to sit with this extra material from it. I need like a locking cup. Let them take it, sell it. I don't care what.
Yeah.
Get home, sell it. I don't know what to do with it. What am I going to do with it?
Okay. Oid yesh lilmed.
So fine. So that's the two things that either there has to be a clear minhag, or it's just what's it called? It happened like this. Oid yesh lilmed me'omer leil. Lepeil b'mifol lokachas beragim masmeidim shenifim mal haaretz. Teichel di aveda or balabaisin lemakdaleim. So that a muter lepeil. It's a peil is allowed to take. Beragim is what, like bolts or something?
Yeah.
Eggs or something, and nails that fall on the ground during the course of work. And the balabais is generally not makbid on them. Oy, martem v'sichos shemeitzim me'agbod me'abegodim, the pins, like the needles and pins that they take out from the clothes, and also the balabais is not makbid on them. V'chein kol chitz b'zeh b'chum shemegeder sheiris hanishul me'aveda. That's again, the truth is it's going to end up being what's considered usual in this time and place. They're the bottom line. But any of these kind of things that the balabas is not generally makbid on them, it's fine that the worker can take them. Gilui say this mikutzayim, revealing trade secrets. Payil she'eved b'makim sheyesh bei say this mikutzayim. A worker that works in a place that has trade secrets. Again, machshir shadayin liyotzel l'shuka, like a machine that is not yet come out into the marketplace. V'hu b'geder seidin, and it's secret. A patent, right? There's a patent on it. Or a proprietary way of doing something. Pashut she'asar leila hatik la'atzmei, legalis la'acherim asaylis. It's clear that it's asar to copy this for himself or to reveal to other these secrets. The zehu gezel gamur min adin. This is complete gezel min adin. Afilu imlei asu takana miyuchedes hazeh. Even if there's no special takana for this. Kivun shem dvarim shemin hastam bali abayis makpidim me'id al giluyim. These are things that it's obvious that the balabos is going to be makpid on them being revealed. And besides for the gzela, you also have a problem of a sagas gvul and causing harm, causing damage. Lagabi mikrisha peil even vigilas asaid. Vayideza also adam acher gam kinesikos avnigdam nezg lebalabayis. Vashailuk. Right, so now let's say the guy already revealed the secret, and now another person makes such a business with such a machine or with this proprietary method, and now he's causing damage to the balabayis. Why? Because he's taking business from him. Vashailuk ka'is, and the question now is only does the worker have to pay the balabayis? Right, when the we're not talking about garmi, talking about grama. It's already it's another guy who's doing it. So there's a machlekes achreinim if he's chayiv or not. The hino das on nesivis. According to the nesivis, payil chayav l'shalim l'balabayis afilu iman nezek shegoram layhu rak b'grama. Unlike most cases, when it's a worker, so it's locked in a sivis, and you caused him nezek, even grama you're chayiv. And based on this, he revealed the thing, even though it's a different person doing the business that's doing the damage, but he's a worker, and therefore he's a grama. And a grama by a worker, according to the sivis, is chayiv. But this only applies if it was given over to this worker in a straight way and in such a way that it was emphasized that they are relying on him, that he's not going to reveal this. And now, through that, he went and revealed this secret. He's causing him nezek in the very same thing that he hired the guy to do. According to the nesivis, you can be mechayiv him in such a case. However, when he was not warned that he should not reveal this, that it's a proprietary method, it's a secret, it's not in a direct way, meaning he didn't work in this thing at all. They didn't even teach him how to do it. He sort of figured it out on his own. So then, even according to the nesivis, you can't be mechayiv him. Fine.
Very good.
Good. So I guess we'll tomorrow we'll look to go inside.
We'll go in the Shulchan Aruch tomorrow. I just wanted to know where the Nesivus is. It says the Pischach Choshen Schiras Perik Zayin. I wonder where that is. Is there anywhere in the Nesivus that we have? Do we have a Nesivus, an address to look it up?
No, the Nesivus is in Pischach Choshen Sham. Where is Sham?
It says it's
you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Schiras. Is it Hilchas Schiras Perik Zayin? Is that in Shulchan Aruch or what? I don't think so.
No, he should have given us. We have an Nesivus here. Why does he bring it only from the Pischach Choshen?
Even if it's a very famous,
Yeah, I don't know.
Wir darf noch fragen.
Yeah, we're gonna have to what's it called?